Hopefully people will start joining us soon. Usually we'll get a message from somebody that we're showing up. So let's see here. Still, our top post is still Barbara Streisand.
Lovely Barbara Streisand.
I hope that was a good fact today.
That was good.
I forgot that her birthday was like 2 days ago.
A couple days ago.
2 days ago, yeah.
People are probably a little barbered out by now, but
never,
I'm never barbered out.
never, ever.
I love Barbara.
We do too. We got to see her. What was it? 3 years ago.
Yep.
Oh my god!
Oh.
Wow.
And it really was like one of the most
in concert or just on the street.
Concert.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. We didn't go together. We went separately, but it was like, oh yeah, that I was in tears through half of it.
Through most of it, yeah.
All right, we are live, and the first comment I see is from Cynthia Kidwell, who says, "You look fantastic, Marilyn."
Oh, that's
excellent.
I thought you'd want to hear that right away. It's a good way to start.
My good friends and one on my team, on my Avon team. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, I can't wait to hear about how that all works. I've been fascinated by Avon since we were little. Hold on, I'm going to mute this. Hear that right away. It's a good way to start.
All right.
Hold on one sec, everybody. All right. Okay. Yeah, I can't wait.
All right.
I've been fascinated by Avon. Oh, sorry, still me since we were little. Trying to get it so I can hear everybody. Everybody stand by. I'm being goofy here.
Obviously, there's a delay, right?
There we go. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a bit of a delay, so it's usually about like a minute lag. I just want to make sure I can read everybody's comments and see their names. Our cousin Aileen, who I was telling you about, joined. She does her makeup. Our cousin Aileen and our sister Lisa are the greatest makeup practitioners in our family history. So
beauty junkies.
We're happy to see that they are both here. And Gail is here, and we got a good crowd building up. So thanks for being here, everybody. We really appreciate it. We are very excited today because not only are you going to meet our guest for the first time, but we are actually meeting our guest for the first time, which is a first here. When we started our Pop Culture Passionistas website and blog and doing celebrity interviews, we started to get comments from Marilyn, who turns out is also a major pop culture fanatic. And so we connected right away and for the last few years on all things pop culture. And then when we started to do these Facebook Lives, we wanted to make them fun and interactive. And we thought, well, who better than Marilyn to ask to come on and give us some makeup tips, because she is a genius at that. So she graciously said yes, even though she really knows nothing about us besides the fact that we like Mad Men and
oh yeah, I'm missing Mad Men. I'm still missing Mad Men.
I do too. I was thinking about it just the other day. It's like, I wish I could watch Mad Men from the beginning, having never seen it.
Yeah.
You know,
I still remember watching the first. I still remember watching the first episode of Mad Men and feeling like I smelled like smoke afterwards.
Oh,
remember that feeling?
You know, it's funny because I was late to the series. I sort of watched when it was. I guess I watched an episode in like maybe the 5th or 6th season, and I was so into it that I had to watch it from the beginning at that point, and then binge all the way to where everybody else was, because I had no idea how into it I was going to be. Yeah. But it was so fabulous. You know, sometimes it's that dose of the costumes and the sets and the recreation of even like I'll never forget this because I was just talking about this with a friend of mine. There was a scene where Don Draper was in a Chinese restaurant that was dark and had the old the lacquer furniture, and the waitress was all in the China Sior dress with her hair up and the makeup. And I said to my husband, that's what Chinese restaurants used to be like.
Totally.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
wasn't like a carry out with the sports on TV and the whole
Right,
thing
right.
and all
Yeah.
that. It was you
Yep.
went in, you were transported. And it
Yeah.
was that way with Polynesian restaurants, it was
Right.
that way with Italian restaurants, it was that way with everything that when you went in, you were immersed,
Yeah.
and
Totally.
when they every detail of that show when they created a scene, whether it was the office or the apartments or in whose ever apartment it was, whether it
Yeah.
was Peggy's apartment or it was Don's apartment or it was
Mm-hmm.
Don's house or whoever's, it
Yeah.
was always so on point,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And each so distinct. Like you knew you were in
Exactly.
Peggy's apartment. You knew you were in Joan's apartment.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly,
And even like
exactly.
the TV when they would do like playback of like
Oh,
a TV event, or they would have
Mm-hmm.
like
yes.
the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson on in the background.
Carson,
It was
yes.
always like the exact date.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly
Right.
to the date. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was just those things made such a difference because when you watch something and it's off, and it's bad. My
Right.
husband and I always were. There was a show that was on a couple. Well, now maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and it was a teenage show on CW that was supposed to be set in like the Tudor era,
Oh
and
God.
they were wearing. They
I'm
went
hooked
from
already.
they went from being in what pretty accurate costumes to then later on look like the girls were just wearing prom dresses from the prom dress department of Macy's and the king had on leather pants with a ruffled blouse and it was like come on
That's awesome.
and it was like there's only so much of this we can take
Yeah.
what I said they're using a stagecoach from old westerns and it's supposed to be set in the Tudor era and we're both theater like a costume geeks so we're aware of all that stuff and we get
Yeah.
I said we had to stop watching it. The show went on for 2 more years
Oh
but
my
we had to
God.
stop because it was so historically inaccurate that we couldn't take it anymore. It was too much.
I love that.
But but
The
but
other thing I loved about Mad Men was we interviewed a director once who had done like a period movie, and he was talking about how there are certain actors that just seem like they're of the modern world.
right,
And you watch things and you're like, that guy didn't live in the 1920s, like
right.
he just feels modern. And every single actor in modern, like
Oh yes.
Joan stands out especially to me.
Oh
Like
yes.
I have such a
Uh,
hard time seeing her in anything else because
yes.
she is
Yes.
of that time period.
Oh yes, but if you were like geeky like me, if you were watching Angel a few years earlier, the actor who played Pete Campbell
Oh yeah.
played David Boreanaz's son, who had like the long
He
surfer haircut
did.
and long hair, and he actually shaved his hairline to look older
Yes.
to play Pete.
Yes.
And that to me was, I mean, you can't. The way he spoke was so different.
Yes.
I mean, talk about an actor. I haven't seen him in anything either, but to know that he was the same actor who was playing the rebellious son of,
Yes.
of
Yeah.
Angel, and then Connor, I think was his name. Yeah, I think in Angel to playing Pete Cable, that was brilliant. And
That's
even
amazing.
that woman who played Pete's wife, who is now in
Oh,
Glow.
totally.
Yeah,
And on
totally.
Community,
Yeah.
Allison
Yeah.
Brie.
Alison
Yeah.
Brie, she's
I'm
great.
sitting talking about TV.
It
But
wasn't our original
but
film, but we
it's
could do
just
this.
such a brilliant. It was such brilliance. It was
Yeah.
on so many levels. On so
It
many
Yeah.
really
levels.
was. It really was.
And
Yeah. Yeah. I miss it. I miss it terribly. But we will talk about our other TV picks as we go on. And if anybody has a show like Mad Men that they're missing terribly, let us know what it is because
oh
we're curious and maybe it's something we haven't seen and it will give us a new show to watch.
Yeah.
So I want to read, which is I usually don't do, but I'm going to read Marilyn's bio because it's so impressive and I do not want to skip anything and I want you all to know how incredible she is.
Oh, thank you.
So first of all, I want to say line one is going to blow your mind because just look at how gorgeous she is when I say this. Marilyn Opitz is on the verge of turning 55. Look at her. She's in her 30s. Not letting that get in the way of achieving her goals in the beauty and pop culture worlds. With nearly 37 years in the beauty industry, 14 years of a presence on social media with topic ratings from new trends in makeup, celebrity beauty, and fashion, with her own beauty tutorials to dishing about her favorite shows. Marilyn stays busy with managing her own business, Biva Girl Beauty, that encompasses freelance work doing hair and makeup, an independent sales representative for Avon, and training her growing Avon sales team, along with side gigs at home. Side gigs as a home organizer, performer, artist, and writer. I'm tired just reading it. Marilyn, aka Biva Girl, which is Bibagirrrl, which I love, grew up in the Maryland suburbs outside of Washington, D.C., continues to live there with her husband, Patrick, a government contractor and part-time actor, and her, is she a Lhasa
Opso.
Lhasa Opso Pippa, who hopefully we'll meet at some point.
Yeah.
And Pippa is the real diva of their home.
She is the diva. It's got to be about her all the time. She steals the spotlight from all of us.
And is she named after Pippa Middleton?
Actually, she was a rescue, and she was already named, so it might have been. But she definitely steals the spotlight.
That's amazing.
So Opsos are like Shih Tzus. They look sort of like Shih Tzus, except they're a little longer, and their faces are a little longer. But
yeah, they're beautiful. I love lots of Opsos. So we are saying, one person commented, yes, you definitely look like you're in your 30s. And we're being told that The Witcher is awesome, and that is confirmed that The Witcher is a show we should all be watching. Is that something you've ever seen, Marilyn?
I know, that's a new one on me. I have to make a note of that.
Yeah, where can we find Witcher, Aileen and Cynthia, who both said?
Is that the one with the guy with the long blonde hair? Really handsome.
I don't know.
Details, please.
We need more information.
I just had to write it down with a lip pen because I didn't have a pen nearby. So when a makeup artist has to write down and make a note, you make a note.
Funny. It's funny you mentioned the lip pen because whenever I've been telling people that we were going to have you on, they ask about you, and I say she can do her lips while she's talking.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm always so impressed by that.
That's very impressive.
That took a while to do on camera. It's the one thing is for me, it's become very empowering because I was very, very self-conscious, even with what I do. For years I'd be always working the back of the salon. People would say, "Oh, there's a front station open." No, put me in the back. I want to be in the back. I don't want to have people walking by, see me. I don't want people walking by my body. I just was always so self-conscious. And I don't want to be the first person that people see when they, I just want to be in the back. I want to be, and it took a lot of time to kind of get over my own nervousness being on camera on a regular basis, doing lives. But it was just like, well, this is the new way to promote your business, and I had to get over it, So the talking has always helped me get over being nervous about doing whatever else I'm doing.
Well, you're so natural. I'm surprised to hear that because that's one of the things that always impresses me.
It's been 4 years and it's been a journey. Yeah. I look back at some of my old ones and I was very nervous and very self-conscious and I still make we just moved a month ago, so I get nervous when I'm in new spaces or if I'm under stress or something. So my joke is I make a drinking game. It could be 9 a.m. and I'll say, okay, make a drinking game. Every time I drop something, take a drink because it's so easy for me to especially if you're talking while doing your makeup at the same time to like accidentally drop something and I'd always feel like, oh no, in my mind when I would first do it, I think, oh no, I'm such a mess. And then I'd see other people's and I'd be like, the more relatable you are, the better it is, and that you don't
absolutely.
And then I had to just envision my best friend who actually now lives in California and I had to envision her on they say people to get over your stage fright, imagine everybody in the audience in their underwear or something like that. Right. But I imagine that my best friend was on the other side of my phone. And so
Oh.
then I thought, okay, how I am with her, and just if I was showing her how to do makeup and or giving her tips or how we relate to each other, and then it turned, and then that made it a lot easier, and then I became good friends with the people who were watching me, and then some of my old friends or friends from would come on, and we had our own in jokes, or we'd have things that make each other laugh while we're on, and so then
Mhm.
that put me at ease, and now it's okay, but there was a it was a journey.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the only reason, we're both really introverted and shy, and the only reason that we can do this is because we're doing it together.
Right.
Right.
If Nancy all of a sudden dropped off this call, I'd be like,
Right.
Yeah. Well, I was
Yeah.
actually I'm more of an artist and a writer that just
Mhm.
and I would play makeup in my room by myself with my headphones on, and I was a really shy, awkward person that had and luckily, friends draw you out.
Right.
And then as time went on, and then the fact that when I chose the beauty career, I wasn't even thinking that it was as social as it was. So I
yeah.
had
Right.
to,
Right.
actually kind of kind of exercise some thoughts in my mind to get over my own self consciousness of just be one on one or even
Mhm.
just being in the salon environment.
Yeah.
And then over time, that was my comfort zone. So, and so I just like anything, you find a way to work yourself out or
Right.
work out the negativity.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then I had to get
Yeah.
used to going to, even things like in-person business promoting. I used to think,
Mhm.
well,
Mhm.
none of, no one there is going to be have any knowledge about my field, or in my mind, I think no one had been through what I'd been through in my life, or no one had been through. No, but
Yeah.
then I had to get used to learning. It took a while to see, well, everybody in there has a story, and they might be nervous too.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So then that helped me get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, Aileen just commented, I want to be Marilyn when I grow up.
Oh,
What a great start.
oh, that's really sweet.
It's true though. I have to say, like, I'm so surprised to hear you say all
Yeah.
that
Me
because you
too.
No.
are so natural in your videos, and I
Uh-huh.
know what you're
Mhm.
saying. It's been a long journey, but it would never have occurred to me that
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
struggled with it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh what I had I had a
Yeah.
lot of struggles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
had even struggles with it first because when I saw him, I think back in junior high, I'd even taken some media classes in a class where you had to like learn how to be on camera and things like that. And I saw myself on camera, and I was horrified
Wow.
Yeah.
how I was. You're of course in your junior high, you're at your
Yeah. Right.
most awkward and
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
those things. And from then on, I was like, oh no, I believed people when they said I should be only backstage. And that's the hardest thing, is to get over past the thing of when people tell you
Yeah.
that you only should be, oh no, we knew, you're too short, you're too heavy, you're too this, you're too this, you're too this, you're this. You can't, you're not, these
Yeah.
clothes are going to fit you. You have to be the person in the back, just on the wardrobe, or you're in the back. So then you think,
Yeah.
okay, so I chose, the hair and makeup people are the people who are backstage, or the back, and it's sort of like the always a bridesmaid, never the bride kind of thing in your
Right.
head.
Mhm.
And so to get over that, to say, I deserve to be out. I have something to say that's
Hmm.
Right.
worthwhile.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, then I was so lucky that I had a dad that was like, hey, screw them if they don't like you. That's how he
Yeah.
was. And
Yeah.
so I had to just keep that thought in here to get
Mhm.
over all those get over that stuff. So when it came to social media stuff, and I'd have friends, or even I mean, I'm now happily married, but I went through a phase of online dating even
Yeah.
before, and people are like,
Right.
I could never put myself out there, and I was like, well, if they don't like it, whatever.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah.
So it all helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
very empowering. Beauty can be empowering. And it to be able to transform people, is really a gift. To be able to build confidence, to see that I help someone say, help other people and say, hey, because you gave me that great haircut, I was more confident when I went for that job interview, or those
Right.
makeup tips and help me feel better about myself when I'm going through divorce, or things like that. Those things to me are really worth make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so great.
I
So
know.
tell us a little bit about your journey into the beauty world. You said you started because you were backstage in theater.
Oh,
So how did?
I mean, I come from a family. I mean, they had everybody. It's like, you have your creative interest, but everybody had to have a day job, kind of thing. But my mom was a model from when the time she was a teenager, and since she even after four kids, she started modeling again. I'm the youngest of four. And so when I was before I could even learn to write, I was learning to play with makeup. Back then, local models they did their own makeup. They might have been wearing dresses for an in department store show or something like that, but they had to like bring their own accessories or bring their own. Do their own hair, do their own makeup. So, and this was the late '60s, and my mom, talking about the Mad Men era, my mom had all these different wigs, the mannequin heads with all the wigs, and so it was like for a little girl, it was like heaven to go in my mom's closet. She had feather boas, she had wigs, she had, tons of beautiful makeup kit, the dryer to style the wigs, all
The
those
kind that you
things.
put on your head.
It
Yeah,
was a
yeah.
bonnet dryer, but it
Yeah.
was a
Uh-huh.
travel, all that, and then I had also wanted, I was very good at art. I loved art, and style and pop culture, and I was trying to always figure out how to put it all together. And then I wanted to get a scholarship to art school, but my dad didn't want me to go away because and everything was in New York. And of course, you think about it, you fall in love your senior year, and you think, but the guy was a year younger than me. So what I thought, well, my dad doesn't want me to go away. I'll hang around, see what happens. And so I thought I'll go to hair school, and then hair school is only beauty cosmetology school is only a year. And I said, oh, by the time I finish, he'll be graduating, and then we'll kind of see where we go from there. What ended up happening is that relationship didn't work out. It didn't last. It ended my senior year. But I was like, forget it. I'm going to go to beauty school anyway.
All right.
And I just thought, okay, I'll be able to start working. And that's what I did. I did that route, and it was basically even though I went to a local cosmetology school, it was sort of like 4 years of college in terms of what you study, and 10 years of life experience shoved into that 9.5 month cosmetology, because the people I met and the world, it really opened up a whole world. And it was right in 1983, when the MTV was booming and everything exploded, and music was exploding, and styles were everything was at a wild, and so much musically was happening, and style wise and fashion and everything. And so it was so much fun. It was a great time. um so I just started working then. Later on, I went back to school and took some design classes, about 10 years later. But I've always kind of just dribbed and drabbed in terms of my art and other creative things. But main thing that brought the money was the hairstyling and makeup. And luckily, around 2000, I started working in salons that really, kind of said, "Oh yeah, you could do makeup. Oh, that's great. We really could use a makeup artist," because they were starting to do more big weddings. All of a sudden, became so big around that time. So it was wonderful to have that outlet. And there were times where I would say do a bridal party's hair, as well as the makeup, or I'd have be helping with someone else, like would be another stylist that had a clients, and they'd be doing the hair, and I'd be doing all the makeup. Or sometimes we'd go on site, or we work as a team together. And then after a while, I decided to freelance with everything, and I had my own business and a little mini salon for 4 years, and that was great too. And then after a certain point, I was like, I may as well just stop paying rent and just and keep the money,
Yeah.
and either go on site or see people in their homes, or have them one on one come to my home. So but it's always been great to have. As soon as with the internet, and when things got easier, there was a time where the computer was only like the really geeky people, and those of us in the beauty industry, we might have used it to keep appointments, but that was it. As soon as we could do different things on the computer and connect with people and post pictures, suddenly that changed everything. Suddenly we could blog see what celebrities' hair on the internet, and you could see what trends were happening, or you could see red carpet outfits, right away, in real time. And that changed a lot too, because suddenly the consumers became more educated. It wasn't something that you had to wait to trickle down. The same thing with fashion shows too. So that changed the game. That changed the whole dynamic with people's exposure. Now, of course, there are always those people who aren't into it, who
Yeah.
don't pay attention. But when it used to be was going to the hair salon and looking at a Vogue magazine or People magazine, suddenly you could look at it, have easy access to what people were wearing or how they were wearing their hair, or all those different kinds of things. Suddenly people, the demands change, and products exploded. And if everybody sees J Lo looking the way J Lo looks, and all of a sudden the self tanners blew off, off the shelves,
Right.
all those things. It makes it changes everybody's perception. But although I will say it does change the criteria for how we judge people, and that's the balance
Right.
of kind of like not seeing the whole mix of collection of different styles, not judging by one way. And I think
Right.
that in of itself has changed too,
Yeah.
and that's been a good thing.
Yeah.
God, I used
Absolutely.
to love going with our mother to the hair salon, and our
Uh-huh.
sister Lisa, who worked in a hair salon, and going through those books and looking at all the haircuts. It was like the only time that you
Yeah.
get to really see,
Yeah.
like, razor cuts and
Oh yeah.
funky, like,
Yeah.
Asymmetrics and
asymmetrical. Yeah.
yeah.
Now it's like I have a picture on my phone that I bring to my hairstylist, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
do that.
Oh yeah. And that's something that's changed too, because I can remember when it started to change, when people used to bring in pictures that they had printed out from their computer. That was the biggest change. Instead
Right.
of, oh, do you want to look at some books? No, I've got a printout here. And then suddenly it was, no, I've got it right here on my phone. I mean, I do it too. I sometimes, if I'm in the mood for a change, I'll just go on Pinterest and put in, highlights, or long hair highlights, and or celebrities, or and can say, oh well, this is when Jennifer Love Hewitt had bangs, and oh, okay, this is when she grew out her bang. You see
Right.
all those range of things.
Totally the
you know
evolution of style.
styles,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
but it's fun that way, because sometimes you can say, well, I sort of like this time frame of when this actress was doing this with her hair, even though I might like her in these roles that she's in now a little better, or whatever it is.
Right. Yeah.
But
Totally.
Jennifer Love Hewitt looks so different with and without bangs. I
oh
saw
yeah,
her. I saw her on something the other day. Oh, it was that. Have you watched the Betty White documentary, that hour-long documentary? Oh my God, it's amazing. And
I'm
there's
making
a couple, there's mostly older actors and stuff, but there's a
Right.
couple young actors. Ryan
Mhm.
Reynolds is in it because he was in that Proposal movie with her.
right.
And then there's this youngish woman with long dark hair, and I kept thinking, who the hell is that? And I missed the lower third, so I didn't catch her name. And I finally realized halfway through it was Jennifer Love Hewitt, and I'm like,
Wow.
she doesn't look like her at all. What did she do? And then they showed her in the movie that she was in with Betty White,
Right, and she had
and she
bangs.
had bangs, and it was like she looks like a completely different person with bangs.
Gotta check it
Yeah,
out.
it changes a lot of things,
Yeah. Yeah. But the
I
Betty
go
White thing
back
is
and
great.
forth. I go back and forth. Sometimes I'll be at this stage, and then I'll go back and do like I like sometimes doing that Betty Page thing,
Oh yeah.
or sometimes
Mhm.
I'll grow them out and I'll be just always keep them at another length, and then I'll just go be in a few 4 or 5 years where it's just a swoop,
I love this.
and I go
Mhm.
you go in cycles,
Yeah.
and I've been up and down the whole hair color wheel. I've been platinum blonde several times, and I
Wow.
go to red, and I've been a redhead for 4 or 5 years. Or I mean, I was the did the ginger spice. I've done there isn't a hair trend. I've been Dorothy Hamill, Farrah Fawcett, Ginger Spice. I've been
Now you look like
who else?
Elizabeth Taylor.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, and I've done Anna Nicole Smith. I mean, there isn't a Madonna. Who else? I've pretty much I've gone up and down the Cindy. I've done the Cindy Laupers.
Wow.
I've done. I mean, I was the three R's. Well, for one thing, there's somebody out there who had already taken just Bieber Girl spelled with the one R
Yeah.
Mhm.
originally. And so then I was a punk rock. The DC was the other thing that was happening was the whole punk movement was happening in DC
Yeah.
Mhm.
around the time I first was doing hair. So there were a lot of bands, and I had some friends who played in bands. And then it was like early '90s. The whole Riot Girl thing was like getting back to that. So that was sort of like me combining that, getting that because I've always had a lot of roots with that scene, and that was DC was a really fun place to be. I know LA was fun, was
Oh
big too
yeah.
with that
Yeah.
that era, and those some of those sensibilities were really fun. It was always hard because because being a model, and my parents were older. Like I said, I'm the one of four kids, and my mom was like, you always do glamour. You don't do any fashion. You
Right.
know, my mom would have loved it. These shows that always had like where the teenage girls dressed too wild, too trampy. My mom, if I would have just chosen to dress trampy, she would have been fine with it because that's still glamour. But when I had my hair in a mohawk and mohawk and camo clothes and Doc Martens, my mom didn't know what to do with me because she was like, "What's wrong with you?" And my dad said, was like, "I sent you to beauty school to look like that. You could have joined the army if you're gonna look like that." So she couldn't get it, and it's so funny because but my black lace-up boots are still. I mean,
Oh yeah.
they've never gone away. I have like 10 different pairs of them. I
Mhm.
mean, the floral dress with the lace-up boots
Yeah.
is like over a t-shirt. It's my look.
Yeah. You're never
It's
gonna
been
go
that
out of
look. I've
style.
been wearing that look now 30 years, but my
Yeah.
mom still couldn't deal with it. And
Yeah.
anytime I'd post it, even on my page, any of my pages, my mom would be like, "Who wants to wear those boots? Those ugly things," And that was the hardest thing is having strong opinions. Sometimes you can change your hair, and you can change things when you get those opinions, and it can
Yeah.
cut right to it. It's like, oh, I thought I was having a good day. Do I had to hear to hear from my mom about what shoes I had on in a video or something.
How
Yeah,
did
and
she feel about
I
you?
have older sisters too, and their
Oh,
style's different. So,
yeah.
What's
we're
their style like?
much more conservative,
Mhm.
much more. It was funny because in the '70s, one was more into the harder rock, and my brother is a musician, so he was more into harder rock, and then the other sister was more into the like Carpenters, John Denver, that kind of more mellow Jimmy Buffett kind of stuff. So
Mhm.
I grew up with all different kinds of music, and I grew up with my grandmother. So my grandmother had all kinds of fashions and taste in music from all the different eras of the. She was born in 1900, so she had clothes. She never got rid of anything. So we
Wow.
had clothes from that. She had gowns that she wore in the 20s and 30s, and suits she wore in the 40s. And luckily, we were the same height.
Oh,
So
cool.
I grew up with a love for vintage clothes. So she stopped at around the I guess what was it, early '60s,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and then
Right.
and then from then on she didn't. She just kind of like always wore those kinds of that style.
Yeah. It's a good place to stop
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
you're
it was
gonna
a good place.
freeze in
And the
the
funny thing
decade.
is, all that stuff came back. Those high waisted dresses with a little
Right.
bow right here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
jacket coats that match the dress.
Mhm.
Those kinds
Yeah,
of
yeah.
a nice brooch.
I'm
Just so
amazed how
people
big
had to
the
go to the
brooch
grocery
thing is
store.
right now.
You know.
The brooch
Yeah.
thing is there's that one woman who's always on CNN who wears the different brooch every night, and it's like her big
Oh.
thing now. But now, like every Nancy Pelosi had a brooch on the other day that I swear to God was like the size of her torso. Like they're all trying to outdo each other with brooches.
Oh, that's so funny.
Stick
That's so
pins will
funny.
come back next.
That's funny.
Yeah, yeah.
So
One thing I've noticed with this lockdown situation, quarantine, lockdown, COVID thing, is everybody's talking about seeing their hairdresser again. Everyone's talking about their barbers and hairstylists and how much they miss us, and
Mhm.
how much they, trying to attempt to cut their kids' hair, and how much,
Yeah.
or even husbands having their wives cut their hair. They're like, "Oh, I have so much respect for your profession now. I had no idea how hard it was,"
Yeah.
and that's really nice to hear,
Mhm. Mhm.
because a lot of times people, it's just sort of like we're like I wouldn't say, that your trash is always going to be taken out by the trash man. You get your
Right.
haircut, you just kind of say, okay, they're there, they do a good job. But I've been very blessed. I've had a core group of people, and I've also over the years narrowed things down, but I've also had a core group of people who who watched me grow up, basically, watching me grow up over the years. Some of people I have, a handful since I was 20, have been with me since I was 21 years old.
Wow.
And so I remember them when their kids were young, and now their kids have gotten married and are having kids themselves.
yeah.
And so we've seen each other through so many different stages of our lives. And
Wow.
sometimes, I moved out of the area just a little bit. It was a little farther out. I was still in this, DC suburbs, but it was farther out. And so we had a little bit of a break, and then they went to other people, and they'd be like, and then when we decided to move back closer, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we missed you so bad. My hair missed you. I needed you."
It's hard.
So,
It's hard to find a really good
Yeah.
person who gets
Yeah.
your hair
yeah,
and who you
yeah,
like. Like I don't know if
Mhm.
you were saying this before we started or not, but like it's a real relationship. And
Right.
yeah,
again, we're shy. So to know I have to go sit in someone's chair for an hour and make
right.
small
And
talk,
talk to them.
Well,
Yeah.
right. You have to build
you're
trust. It's
great.
like
Yeah.
anything. You build trust. It's like any kind of friendship or any kid. Some people, I've had people say to me, "You're the best relationship I have," because I know that I'm gonna have real talk, honest
Mhm.
talk, and of course we hear things. For me, I had to limit the amount of. Over time, I developed a sensitivity to a lot of chemicals and certain types of
Mm.
products, so that's kind of changed another thing of how I can only use certain types of things. I don't do perms or body waves anymore. I don't do any more straightenings like I used to, like that Brazilian straightening that really took off. I can't be around that.
Yeah.
So I had to limit my what I was able to do. So that's when I started doing much more of the makeup and the direct sales with Avon. And but the one thing is that I'd have days where I'll see somebody and they just may have won some award in their work, and they're really happy, or they're celebrating something happy, and then the next person I see, an hour or 2 hour, is going to go to a funeral of someone they love. And so talk about your switch your emotional channels. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
then the next person, was sad because their son's going off to college, but then the next person just got engaged.
Right.
So then it's like boom, 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 and you want to sympathize with the person who's going through something sad, and plus if since I know them, I might know the person, or have
Right.
or just so
Right.
empathize with them, and then the other person, I'm so happy for that they got that job, or that they are winning that award, or something. So that can be a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So that
you're
that
on your feet all
All
day.
be
day.
That's the thing
on
that
the
always
feet.
strikes
So, oh yeah,
me
yeah.
when
I
I go
had
to
Yeah.
a
the
lot of
hairdresser.
years where I was doing 6 days a week,
Oof.
10-hour days, and
Wow.
yeah, I've cut back a lot. So
Yeah.
the wonderful thing about Avon is it's direct sales, and it used to be more in person, with in
Mhm.
person parties, but because of the way, even like this situation, my sales have not gone down because a lot of it's
Good.
with doing the Facebook Live, messaging people, texting people, hey, I'm putting an order in. Hey, I saw this. I thought this fragrance. I know you like florals. We got this new floral fragrance. You want to try it? You could buy a travel size. Those kinds of things. It's another way of being able to earn from home
Yeah.
and not have your whole life be in upheaval. We're
Mhm.
having to go to a 2-hour drive, 2 hours away for a party, and the hostess doesn't have to worry about cleaning the house when
Right, right,
Right.
right.
so there's
Yeah.
that aspect of it. There's a whole modern take on how you can do your business. So that's been really exciting and enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
and but especially with self-care right now, self-care is really important.
Mhm.
Whether it's a bubble bath or a face mask, and
Mhm.
that was I just saw something really funny video where somebody said, "Oh, I've got my face mask, so all right," and they had a mask, a skincare mask on their face, and and they didn't know it was the wrong kind of face mask, and oh yes, here she is. So
Okay.
get
Oh,
Pippa here.
good. Pippa.
Well, Pippa's coming into the scene. I want to remind everybody to take
There she
advantage
is.
of
Oh,
the fact that
hi.
Marilyn's here and post some questions for her. Oh,
Yes.
look
Hi,
at her.
Pippa.
Oh,
Oh,
hello.
She
you're a
is.
cutie.
Hi,
Oh,
cutie.
cutie. Oh my goodness.
So Marilyn, Gail was posting while we were talking that she's gonna color her own hair today,
Oh my
and,
gosh.
and Gail was also saying that their hairdressers are sometimes afraid of her hair. I will say I used to work with Gail.
Uh-huh.
Gail has the most gorgeous head of hair, and whether she leaves it curly or straightens it, it is magnificent.
Hmm.
I've always thought that about her hair. So, I think a lot of people have never done, like, it seems like Gail, from her comments, it seems like she may have done her own hair before color
Right.
wise, but we're all going to get to the point here pretty soon where
Right.
we're either going to let this go or we're going to try and do
Right.
something which
Right.
is scary. So do you have
Right.
any tips or are there any like Avon products that
Well,
would
Avon
be
is pretty
helpful?
amazing because we have collaborated. Avon has collaborated with the Chi company, Farouk Chi. A lot of people know Chi flat irons, and
Yeah.
there's Chi hair, professional hair color, and they have collaborated with them. And there's actually Avon has a kit, and that's actually been a big seller for me right now. They actually have a kit, a hair color kit that comes in. It's deposit only color. It's not something that you could become a bleach blonde with. It's mainly for covering gray, and there's several shades, and it comes with the gloves. It comes with a bag that you would put over the color. It comes with a shampoo, conditioner, and a serum that you would put in, like a styling serum. And it's no ammonia free,
Mm.
and a lot of great ingredients that help really condition the color. It's a higher, it's almost, the colors are exactly the same as the professional line of the Chi hair colors,
Mhm.
and the only thing is that makes it different from what a stylist uses. Of course, a stylist, and I've had some of my customers use this kit, but the problem is usually I might mix 2 or 3 shades together and
Mm.
to get that color,
Right.
so their color. So what I have to say is, okay, make a decision of which is the one that's overall closest of the colors, that if they're going if they're going to buy the kit to color their hair at home. Okay, if they're mostly dark warm brown, get the dark warm brown, or if
Mhm.
they're mostly a red, get the darker red, even if I usually would mix a little golden brown in there, or a little,
Right.
get the one that you're most closest to.
Right.
And so that's been a really great kit. It's, you have to be prepared for the mess.
Mhm.
Put cream around the hairline, Vaseline around the hairline
Mm.
and around your ears. If you don't have cotton to put around to help with the drips, take a paper towel. I
Mhm.
know, even though I know paper towel is like in demand there,
Like
but
gold.
either
Not
way,
more
but
important than hair.
take something that you can twist around to put around the hairline
Mhm.
that you would when you were at a salon when they put the cotton around.
Yeah.
Take something like that, that can absorb, so you're not dripping, down.
Mhm.
Only rinse in their metal sink or a laundry sink. Don't do it
Yeah.
in your bathroom or your shower, because countertops
Yeah.
or a good porcelain is porous.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So those are all things like, and then also, newspapers, put newspapers down, or even like us, I was in a place, we were living in a place with very dark floors, and a very easy flooring that so I didn't have to worry. Now we have all white tile in our kitchen, and it was just unpacking. I said, had all these old cheapy kind of dollar store tablecloths. I was like, well, these are old. Oh well, hey, I could use these as drop cloths,
Right.
for if I even when I color my husband's hair, because I
Yeah.
cut and color his hair. So even like something like that, some long, big piece of plastic, or cheapy dollar store tablecloths that you could put down, so that when you're applying it, because it's very easy, even if you've got a bottle and you're applying it, it's very easy for a little drip to fly. You don't realize how. Or
Right.
even with when you're painting it on with your an applicator brush, if you're painting it on like this, a
Mm.
little drip can fly,
Right. Right.
and those things make a huge difference. And later on, you're cleaning up and like, oh no, and how do you get it off?
Yeah.
Right.
So those would make a big difference. But one thing a lot of people don't realize, that the end of a bottle, even if you're squirting it from the bottle, the end of the bottle you can section your hair with that bottle,
Oh.
that tip,
Mm.
and that's why it's a point and
Right.
not just pouring it. So
Oh.
and that's why if you're at the salon and it's being applied with a brush, they're using the end of the brush to section and then paint it on, and the end of the brush, so the end of the bottle can be used to section.
Oh, that's a good
um
tip.
That's
yeah,
Um,
great.
yeah.
Gail wants to also know if you have any tips, any ideas to help with stubborn gray.
um Use See if you have, well, we have, that was saying, the ones from Avon are they're all the formula already pre-formulated for Severn Gray. It's called the 50 dash line in Chi. But if it says, if you're using something, it's see if it has a double N, like sometimes if it's 5N, you want 5NN, because those are all for it's like it intensifies, and always make sure it says permanent, not semi-permanent or demi-permanent. Always make sure it says permanent. um I'm trying to think. Those are the main things, but it's hard to tell because there's so many different brands out there from the store. And in some, what I've noticed, some work better than others. Some have such a high ammonia content, and it just I just try to get away from that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So
Dan, you want to pick
So
but
a question?
yeah, so Lisa Barbosa says, I'm digging my gray coming in. Any ideas to make gray look good?
Well, it depends on how it's growing out, Gray, depending on your hair. Like when people go gray, like my hair, you can't tell right now because I use a lot of, when I do it straight, I really make the effort to really straighten it. But my hair, as it's gone gray, has gotten much frizzier. So
Hmm.
I have to use a lot of things to make it have more control. And then there are other people, when their gray comes in, it ends up being more limp. So then you have to add more body. So it just depends on how your gray is coming in. And what you could do is, and it's hard to this is hard to do yourself. But when I have some people who have eased into their gray, as opposed, like say if they have this much gray coming in, and then they have their old color, whereas they when everything opens back up, instead of going to get a touch up, you would have some gray streaks put in
Oh.
through your old color so
Mhm.
that your gray can grow out more smoothly
That's a good idea.
into, into your old cut. Then you don't end up with that harsh line growing
Right.
out, or you're
Right.
half and half.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's a
That's
really
good. Yeah.
I have a question about hair because I usually only wash my hair like twice a week.
Hmm.
But with the coronavirus, I've actually been washing it like every day. If we step outside to get the mail, I come in and take a shower. I'm like
Hmm.
crazy like that. So I've been washing my hair a lot, and it's getting so. And even when I moisturize it or use like a conditioner that I leave in for a few minutes, it's so much drier. So
Uh-huh.
are there any tips or products that can help make your hair look
Hair serums really help.
Yeah.
There's we have a line that's kind of like, I call it the affordable version of, a lot of people have heard of Moroccan oil, the Moroccan oil line, which is
yeah.
pretty high end, but Avon has an affordable version of the argan oil, and they call it Moroccan argan oil, but it's basically their version of it. And we have a serum that I will work in my hair. I only do my hair maybe about when it's a blowout like this. I go maybe 4 to 5, sometimes 6 days. So I'll always kind of freshen it up the next day with a little bit of the serum and work it through, because that way you don't end up with the flyaways. But I just keep it away from up here so I don't get as greasy. But I'll put it through where
Right.
the majority of my hair, where it's drier and gets
Mhm.
frizzier, and it gives a shine, and it's a great product. And sometimes we have package deals where you can get the shampoo, the conditioner, and the serum, all three together, and
Uh-huh.
that's an awesome package. Then we also just got the Propylethera line in, that also has a bigger serum. It's a little higher price point, but it has an awesome serum too. And that whole line is, and people don't realize, we have a line with Avon. We've got this Propylethera line that's all royal jelly and honey based.
Wow.
And then the argan oil. And it's just really amazing to have so many choices. And you don't think Avon has that much, but we have a whole, lots of new, we have everything, clothes and jewelry and wellness. I mean, wellness shakes, and a whole thing of energy boosting, immune boosting things to add
Really?
to your water. And I mean,
Wow.
it's a little bit of everything, and it's great to be able to have personal trainers use what was these shakes and these
Ah.
immune boosting drinks and drink
Mhm.
mixes and stuff, and see people transform, lose weight with the products and stuff. So it's like another whole dimension.
Ah.
And
Who
but
knew?
but that's something, yeah, you wouldn't think it until you talk
Yeah.
to somebody who works with a company, because you can't just be the $1.99 lipstick,
Right.
or the little
Right.
the things, the same thing. Although we still have Sweet Honesty, and we still have, Haiku, and some of those things that whenever you hear them, it just makes you smile, because your lady come to your mom's house, and all that. But yeah, those things, the serum is really awesome. A good hair serum makes a difference.
Okay, good. That I'm gonna get some of that. Yeah, it's so interesting to talk about Mad Men. I feel like my view of Avon is stuck in the '60s. Like I have
Right,
no
right,
idea. I had no
right.
idea that any of
Right.
that stuff
Yeah,
existed at Avon.
yeah.
Yep.
I thought it
I
was all
sold it
one
in the
brand.
80s when I was in beauty school, and then I even sold it in the 90s. And even in the 90s, it was still, you had a certain assigned territory, you had
Mhm.
a certain way of doing things. And then through 2000s, it started to change, and people can buy from my website, and start to have more things. But now we have all of our training is online, and a lot of things. There's even a skincare quiz that customers can take on my website if they want to learn about what products to use.
Mhm.
There's a whole bunch of things, and you can just put in by. You can shop the brochures. You can shop by type of products. You can.
Mhm.
We've got even deals with Bally and Playtex for shapewear and intimates. I
Wow,
mean, it's pretty amazing.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
I had
So it's
no
kind of
idea.
like I always anything I might want to shop for, I go to my own Avon site first.
Right,
This bra's falling apart. I gotta check and see if we have something similar in
right.
stock, and or hey, I'm out of my protein shake. Oh, I'm gonna
Mhm.
see if Avon. What do we or the Bug Guard and all a lot of
Right.
those things that we have. So it's sunscreen. It's pretty wild. It's pretty
That's great.
wild. Yeah. So even it's another thing. I have a lot of my customers. You would think that I would have a lot of customers who are high maintenance. I always joke that I'm my most high maintenance customer. The majority I have so many friends who've actually cut back on makeup,
Yeah.
and customers who cut that are actually like very low key in their product quotient. And but those are the people who might be my best customers for buying things like the sunscreen or the Bug
Mhm.
Guard, or because
Right.
they don't want to be chewed up when they're gardening. Those kinds of things. So it's been fun to be able, because I've worked for other companies before that were more just makeup, or it was more just fashion, or just more skincare. And it was hard because I like being able to have things that a customer that has that doesn't color their hair, and that isn't into all the glitz and that can still relate to,
Mhm.
as well as having cool stuff that's the sparkly and the glitter, and that somebody else might be into. So that's
Right.
because I always have drawn that mix. I call them my NPR ladies. I've always had like that mix of the NPR and the
Mhm.
mix of the people who were going out clubbing. So that's kind
Awesome.
of like, I guess, two sides of me. Uh, uh,
Great. That's so
yeah.
great.
Yeah, and but one thing I'm
Yeah,
really talking about, getting back to pop culture, was
yeah.
I'm a little late into the game. I just realized, I mean, of course you can do things like Netflix from your tablet or phone, but whoever made it so that invented that you could watch things from your DVR on your phone, that you record, through with your cable provider. Like me, might record my soaps, or certain other series that I'm watching,
Mhm.
so I can now watch whatever I used to just watch, have to be stuck in front of the TV.
Mhm.
Before, I'll be cleaning my bathroom and I'm watching like Young and the Restless, while I'm on
No
my phone.
way! Get
Yeah,
out of
I can watch,
town.
you can,
I've been
yeah,
watching
so
on my laptop a lot, but I didn't know you
right.
could do it on your phone too.
You can do it from your phone. So it's been, like, I'll have you watching like Shaws of Sunset, and
Yeah.
the funny thing is that there are people who, there's some one of the was it the people in one of the girls in Shaws of Sunset said, I never cleaned a day in my life or something, and I'm be cleaning the bathroom while they're but that whoever invented that is I want to give them an award, because to
Yeah,
be able to get other things done, because it used
Yeah,
to be like it was either or, you could
right.
either you were stuck sitting and watching, but to
totally.
be able, or to be on the treadmill, you always have to have TV in the gym or something, but
Right.
be able to like have it on whatever you want to watch,
Yeah.
Right.
and the streaming, of course, the streaming, but to be able to like the to stream those types of things.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, that's
I
cool. I had
remember
no
yeah.
I worked at Warner Brothers, and they'd call us in and show, oh, we have this new camera, we have this new, editing thing. And I'd
Hmm.
go and I'd be like, oh, when is this going to be over? And I remember the day that we got called into a meeting and they showed us TiVo for the first
Oh,
time.
yes, yes,
And
yeah.
it was like about 6 months before it came out.
Right,
And
right.
everybody else was like, yeah, whatever. And I was like, what? You can, you can be watching a show and someone can call you and you can pause the
Oh, yeah.
television?
Yeah, yeah.
To me, it's the
Pause live
greatest
Yes,
TV.
invention.
And now you can
revolutionary.
record up to 5 channels.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what's so incredible.
yeah.
That I mean, for people like me, because sometimes even back in the day with the VCR, could do 2 channels at the same time. But then
Mhm.
after a while, it was like, well, what if something else was on? Or what if something
Yeah,
else was
Exactly.
on? What like the Oscars might be on when some like the finale of
Yeah.
yeah,
Mad Men might be on or
Yeah, the
something or
Emmys were on the
Emmys.
night of the Breaking Bad finale. It was like,
Oh
yeah,
God.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm one of the few did not get into Breaking Bad.
Really interesting.
I did
how
not do
did
Breaking Bad. Well, no, who looks good on Breaking Bad? I
Uh,
watch I watch
good point.
I watch
Aaron
shows
Paul
and
is
they've got to
cute.
have
Come
good
on.
hair, they've got to have good makeup, they've got to have some great sets. I don't want to, I'm not into dealing drugs. I don't want to see Walking Dead and people blood. Those kinds of things. I don't go in those directions. I don't
Yeah,
understand that, but I'm like, hey, more power to you if that's your
yeah.
thing. I
I
will
totally,
escape from
I
reality.
totally regret watching Walking Dead now. I completely regret it.
But I
It's
understand how
so
plot
real.
lines.
Other than the actual zombie part of it, the rest of it's just too real now.
The plot lines. I know how people can get cut. We were into the True Blood, but I think
Oh
True
yeah,
Mhm.
Blood after the first couple of seasons
Yeah,
kind of went in a
I
totally.
agree.
strange directions. But
Yeah.
we actually have acted out. My husband and I, we went through a phase, and we need to do some more now that a lot of things have calmed down for us. We have a great 2 staircases here, and I said, well, we could actually like put on Renaissance fair costumes and to act out like Romeo and Juliet. But at one point we did a thing. We did a scene where he was Jason Stackhouse and I was Lafayette, and we were filming a hilarious scene that they did together when Jason took the V and all that.
Oh
So
yeah.
hysterical. And that just scene, and people still will. My cousin Vinny. We did my cousin Vinny, where I was Lisa, and he played I'm drawing a blank. um
Joe
Joe
Pesci
Pesci. He played Joe Pesci. Yeah,
character.
we have some videos of that, and
Oh
I mean,
my
some of
god.
course,
That's
and we were doing it
hysterical.
just from the tablet. We don't even have any good equipment, but just doing it, just being able to act out those things, those types of
I
scenes,
love
just
it.
kind of a fun outlet to do together.
That's
And
funny.
costumes, like I had like in the 80s, I had a sweater that I have from the 80s that had a lot of sparkle on it, it was just really funny. And we do a lot of those funny scenes, but yeah, like so there's some shows that I don't think those they didn't always stay consistent throughout
Oh,
the
totally.
series.
Yeah.
Most shows don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's just
Um,
kind of fun. I like the shows with glamour, and
yeah.
Mhm.
I'm a part of like a few. I follow a few pages. Like there's a page called Denver Carrington, and it's just all fans of the old original
Oh
Dynasty.
wow.
And I love the new Dynasty though too.
I haven't
Even though
watched that.
it's a little bit campier. Even
Yeah.
campier than the original, and a
It's
little more
intentionally campy, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
but it's still fun. There's still some interesting, and great clothes, and I like Escape.
Yeah.
I like I like all that.
Yeah.
Have you
and
watched where a couple people are posting shows? Have you watched Stranger Things or Supernatural?
okay. Supernatural I only watched for a couple of seasons, but one of my best friends loves Supernatural so much. She goes to all the conventions. She
Oh,
pays all the
Oh.
extra money. She's met all the guys, got her picture taken with them every year for
wow.
year, and it's so wonderful to see, how that's like transformed. It's so much fun for her.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but Stranger Things, I love.
Yeah.
Stranger Things
I
is
love Stranger Things.
so wonderful. It's like that's like been like a gift.
Yeah.
In fact, 4th of July, the first night, I guess it was available the first night, this past 4th of July, we watched the whole thing. We didn't leave. We had fireworks. I mean, fireworks were going off. It was like, okay, that's nice. But Stranger Things, we gotta see what's gonna happen in the mall. I'm really looking forward to the new Wonder Woman, the Wonder Woman 2, because that was
Yeah.
filmed here in DC.
Oh, yeah.
And they filmed it in Georgetown, which is my old stomping grounds, and
Wow.
it's set in, and they really made Georgetown look the way it looked in the 80s. They filmed in the mall that my husband Patrick grew up going to. That's
Oh,
right by his
wow.
parents' house.
Wow.
And they transformed the Landmark Mall to look more, and it's actually one of those dead malls and nothing is happening. But
Yeah.
because of that, they were able to transform the inside. So
Oh,
just
wow.
seeing the preview for the new Wonder Woman is so exciting for me. Just because I love, the message behind
Yeah.
it, you know.
Yeah.
But just to see it, with that era, and that it's just wonderful, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm so glad to see girls growing up with that, you
I
know. It's
know.
like,
Yep. I know, it's so great.
yeah.
Because I honestly feel like our TV Wonder Woman was that for
Oh,
us.
yes,
Like
yes,
you
yes.
know, and so
Oh,
now they
and
have this kind of new, even
yeah,
more
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
powerful.
right. But they've actually met. And they've been. Well, Linda Carter was at the
Yeah.
premiere. I actually met Linda Carter. Linda
Uh-huh.
Carter, settled here after she stopped
Oh.
acting in the DC area. And she used to bring her kids into the salon that I worked at in the late '90s. So I
Oh,
actually got to see her quite often,
wow.
and was just stunning, and she was just everything you would expect her to be, and
That's so cool.
because we don't have that many. Well, we had around that time there were quite a few. Mike Tyson was living in the same neighborhood, so
Oh,
sometimes I
wow.
would see Mike Tyson in that same mall. And he'd walk by the salon sometimes, but that was always a thrill when she would come in, and all of a sudden I felt so short and
I bet.
dumpy and old, and I was just like, oh my
I think Heidi
god.
Klum would feel short and dumpy next to her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really. Really.
And but she just was so elegant. She'd wear some really elegant clothes. And there's so many moms, come in to bring their kids in to get their haircuts, and she'd still look, even if she wasn't as dolled up as you expect her, like a red carpet kind of look, but she still looked so fantastic.
Yeah.
And it was just it's just so exciting. Her kids were great, and now, of course, a lot of local publications will kind of do a story on her, or she'll post
Mhm.
pictures of her kids. And I'm thinking, I remember when those kids were little. How did those kids get grown up now? But
Wow.
I'm always lucky when I was kind of growing up. Elizabeth Taylor was married to John
Oh,
Warner, the
yeah.
Senator John Warner.
Yeah.
So a lot of the Washington magazines would have pictures of Elizabeth Taylor in some
Yeah,
cocktail
yeah.
party. To me, I always feel like the politics of DC has always been boring to me, or drag
Mhm.
things down. But
Yeah.
it's always been fun the fun part of things. So people, for whatever reason, I had to stay in this area because of family, and the first husband's job was based here, and then it ended up being that after I got divorced, and then later got married again, this husband's job is based here.
Yeah.
So it's always been kind of a mixed bag, being interested in things that aren't quite as serious, and yet still living in DC, where people tend to take themselves very seriously,
Yeah.
and we're subject to so many things that happen. Thank you. That was another thing. I was so grateful for when the internet kind of opened up, and we could
Mhm.
connecting with you guys, connecting people with people who were doing things, and finding people with like-minded
Yeah.
interests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a gift,
Mhm.
because for so long you kind of feel like, am I the only one that is interested in this stuff?
Yeah. Right.
And
Yeah.
even if I had coworkers, not all my coworkers were as into a lot of the same stuff as I was
Right.
into. We might be, on the same page in terms of style and stuff, but they might not be,
Mhm.
watching the same shows, or might be more into sports, or might be more into,
Yeah.
other things. So
Yeah.
to find like-minded people who enjoy it
Totally.
is
Yeah.
key,
Yeah.
and then now to have people that participate. If I'm not on with the pictures, of the red carpet dresses or talking about things, and people like, "Where are you? You're usually doing this. You're doing this," and like sometimes it'll happen to be that other things will be happening in my life
Right.
that
How
day,
dare
and
you?
so and I said, "Well, now I've just learned I have to DVR things and
Yeah.
just watch it on. Like I might be on an hour behind, and people are like, "Why
Right.
aren't you watching it on? Did you see this?" And I'm like, I'm sorry. I had my family over. I'm cleaning up the kitchen. I'll be there as soon as I can.
I
I'll
promise.
do what I can.
Oh my God.
That's
Okay,
funny.
we want to get a few more tips in here
Sure.
before we have to wrap up. Someone was asking, they wear glasses, and they want to know if you have any tips, any eye makeup tips for
Oh
girls
yes.
with
Okay.
glasses.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm a glasses wearer most of the time. 3/4 of the time, I'm a glasses wearer. I don't. Occasionally, I'll show myself with glasses, but a lot of times on here, when I'm on is there's if I'm showing eyeglasses, I mean, showing eye makeup, I don't want to have the glasses on. But one thing is just wearing more makeup. A lot of times people don't realize that because of the reflection, your eyes kind of recede. And so the more that you can put on so that your eyes can come out, a lot of times people think, oh, I'm going to wear less because, because the glasses are there. And try to get something low in terms of reflection, you know. Um, because the light can hit it. Like right now I'm seeing you guys and I see the reflection
Right.
of, and so
Yeah.
because of that it kind of takes away too.
Yeah.
And a lot the different certain types of frames can be more flattering than others,
Yeah.
I've had some people say sometimes I've gone for the really really funky frames and then later regretted it because I felt like the frames took more of the attention away from my face.
Right.
And it's sort of like what people used to say to me about having really funky hair, it's almost like if you so much competing. But of course, I still love the funky hair. But there you can I realize that in terms of you don't. For when I'm speaking, I didn't realize that sometimes you have so many different distractions to when people are being focused, that you can so glasses can be very important, and there's so many good styles now,
Yeah.
but a lot of it's just wearing more because it can just disappear,
Right.
so
That's a good
Yeah.
tip.
Yeah.
What about dark circles? That to me is like the biggest makeup question ever.
well, there's so many different things out now for dark circles, which is really amazing. There's a lot of great concealers and a lot of things that you can do to color correct. A lot of times when you see a dark circle, it's actually like a purple shadow that when you put a lighter or a whiter shade of foundation or your like a lighter concealer can end up still making that lavender or that bluish tint of the circle come through still. It would
Mhm.
look more like a pastel like color. So there's a way of putting like something that's peachy toned, or even on darker skin. Yeah, I've seen it done with kind of an orange color, and then you would put your foundation or concealer, regular concealer or regular makeup on top,
Mhm.
and that actually helps counteract the
Uh,
dark circle. But you have to be someone who's already going to be doing all those layers anyway.
Right.
That's the thing is, but I would say find something. Some people do it a one shade lighter or a half shade lighter, but the main thing is finding something with its warmer tone, because the warmer, even if you're just going to maybe start wearing foundation if you're not, if you don't usually wear foundation, but even just doing a little bit of foundation in a warmer tone helps counteract that dark when you're putting your foundation over your dark circle.
Okay.
Even just doing that, sometimes I'll just, if I'm in a hurry, I'll do warm powder on top of my foundation, and that usually helps do it. I have some days where I don't have I'll have more. I have some days that are more heavy bag days, and I
Mhm.
have some days that are more dark circle days, and then
Yeah.
there's some days that I actually have both. Um,
Yeah.
we one of our eye serums was voted Marie Claire's top 25 beauty products, and
Wow.
it's a blue. It's in the hydrofusion line. I have it's up on the third floor. I should have brought it down, but it has a cooling a roller ball that when you
Mm.
put it on, the cooling agent helps the swelling. When you
Ah,
have bags, so
wow.
that's a really great product, and I actually have my husband using that because as an actor,
Right.
and he's just over little over 40. Yeah, there's an age gap. But he was starting to get that a little bit, and he wants us to look it on camera. So I
Mhm.
said, well, you're a good guinea pig for this because you're a man. You're not going to wear concealer. You're not wearing foundation. You're not on your day to day life. You're not using all what a woman would do,
Right.
and it's been amazing seeing seeing how well it works.
It's so good.
you know,
Yeah.
and so that's a great product, and it's low key. It's you can put it in your purse. It's like about like this size,
Hmm.
and just squeeze a little out, work it in,
Wow.
and it's not like a whole big heavy jar of something you have to make a commitment to.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
a good
cool.
product.
That's
Cool.
awesome.
Mhm.
Excellent.
Mhm.
Nan, you got anything?
Yeah, I want to ask about lip lines, all the little lines that are
Ah,
showing up around my lips.
uh-huh. Well, I would say that there are products. There's a product that we have that has, it's almost like the same product that's in fillers, except you
Mhm.
put it on topically. And you
Mhm.
can put it in the way if your lines are vertical, you put it along those lines. But this is my biggest tip that I tell everybody because I've seen so many people say, here, squeeze out a little moisturizer, right? If I were to say, if I'm going to just squeeze this out here, I'll see people take a little moisturizer, they go like this, and
Mhm.
what's the first thing they do? They go and they put it down. When they
Right.
rub it in, they go like that. And
Mhm.
I don't know why, because you're dragging your face down. So here's a tip. Any line that's a vertical like this, when you work it in, you work it in horizontal because that helps
Oh,
break this up right here. Okay. So if you have lip lines here, you work this in horizontal this way. Forehead lines are horizontal. You work that in. When you get a facial, you'll feel those fingers go like that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's because they're working it in. So you break all this stuff up. I've never had any injectables in my face.
yeah.
I just I just learned all these techniques when I was learning how to do facials, and I just work at things,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
so we're going across this way, lifts this up,
Mhm.
and I have a little bit of here, but I'm always pulling. You're working and pulling because
Yeah.
you're working on your face.
Wow.
So when you're doing the lip lines, you go across when you put
Cross.
moisturizer in, yeah.
Mhm.
And then even here when you work this, and I'm actually better now than I was even a couple of years ago. I was looking at some old videos where I had a lot more sagging under here because I've
Mhm.
lost some weight. I still want to lose more, but I had a lot more under here, and I'm always just working this up and then stretching it back.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so
Wow.
but
Excellent.
it's sort of like giving yourself your own facial every time you moisturize.
That's interesting.
And
So far, I've
That is
always heard the
awesome.
work it up thing, but that's the first time I ever really got it,
yeah,
understood why,
yeah,
and
Yeah.
now it makes
yeah.
total sense.
Because everyone can tell, you can say, "Oh, here, use this, it'll help." But unless you're knowing how to put
Doing it
it
the right
on,
way.
what the
Right.
right way, it's not gonna. It just ends up being in a drawer saying, "Oh, that didn't do anything."
Oh, I have many drawers with many
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
First away, I thought they were
everything
going to
with
be.
Avon has a 90-day guarantee too, which is really
Oh,
fabulous. So
nice.
let's say if you buy something and you don't have time, or you still need to finish up something else, and a month later, that's when you start that jar that you bought for me a month earlier. You still have time if you think, oh well, that really, or somebody has a reaction or something. You can send it back within the 90 days. So I think
Wow.
that's
That's
a yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
huh.
I hate
So
to say this, but we're getting to a point where we should probably wrap up because it's
okay.
Yeah.
an hour and 20 minutes already. I feel like
Wow.
it's been like
Wow.
10
That's
minutes.
Yeah.
fantastic.
So
Yeah.
I have one more pop culture question. that
Uh-huh.
I would like to ask, and then I want to make sure we talk about a couple things
Oh
before we
yes,
let you
yes.
go.
My
So
petition and
your petition and everything. So my pop culture question is one that we like to ask people in our interviews, but I know that I've been dying to know your answer to this, and I would love to know everybody else who's watching. I would love to know your answer too, which is if you could pick one female pop culture icon or woman in history from all time, real or
right,
fictional,
right.
and walk in their shoes for one day, who would you choose and why?
Oh, jeez. Oh my God.
Go with your gut. Just go with
Well, um, you'd say like someone like Cleopatra or something like that, would
Mm.
be pretty wild.
that's
I would
not
say
makeup.
Lady Gaga,
Mhm.
because she not only has the talent but she has the style,
Right.
and the guts, and I always say, when she came on the scene, what was she, 22 years old, and she's what, almost 30. I
Yeah.
don't know if she's 32 now or something, 30.
Yeah.
But I did not have that confidence at 22. I don't have the
I don't
I
know.
didn't have the confidence that I have now,
Yeah.
at when I was that age. But to know that, to have that kind of talent, to be able to do
Yeah.
such a wide range
Mm,
of singing. I can sing some things, but not in all those different styles,
yeah.
Yeah.
and have all the range of the instruments and all that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
yeah, just pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we
We,
got some good ones.
yeah. Who do we got, Nan?
Liza Minnelli, Lisa
Oh yeah, Liza.
Barbosa. Gail says Betty Davis.
Yeah.
I saw somebody had said Cher.
Aileen said Cher.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I
That's
used to
good.
get, when my hair was curlier. Now my older sister in the 70s looked a lot like Bette Midler, and when I used to wear my hair permed and with red hair, people used to say I reminded them a lot of Bette Midler, and when she was doing those movies like the Outrageous Fortune and some of those Down and Out in Beverly Hills, I had that kind of red curly hair look, and people used to say I reminded them of Bette a lot.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good one. That's
And
a really
yeah,
good
she
one.
was another, super talent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our
Yeah.
cousin Sheila said she'd want to be our great grandmother, which I
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh wow.
yeah, she was
Well, you
cool.
all must, I can see you, so lineage of lots of good, strong women.
Yes, definitely.
Well, it's funny. One of our cousin Sheila tuned in because she saw that we were interviewing a Marilyn, and
Oh,
her mother's name is Marilyn.
oh,
Or
there's
was
so few
Marilyn.
Marylands. There are very few
Very
Marylands.
few.
Very few
Yeah.
Marilyns.
Yeah.
And so Sheila, her brother Peter, has a son Andrew. This is a
Okay.
long convoluted. We mention Peter and Andrew pretty much every Facebook Live.
Yeah.
But so our cousin Sheila, her mother was Marilyn. Marilyn's sister was our mother Betty.
Okay.
Peter's son Andrew and his wife Anna had just have two girls. Andrew has a daughter, a son Lucas, and then Anna and Peter have had two baby girls together. They named their first girl Marilyn
Uh
after
huh. Uh huh.
Andrew's great grandmother or Andrew's grandmother,
Uh
and
huh.
they were going to name their second girl something else until our cousin Joyce convinced them that they should name the second baby Betty. So
Mm.
now they're Marilyn and Betty 2.0.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So they're carrying on the Marilyn name into the
Yes.
next generation.
Yeah.
That's great. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yes.
we love them.
I'm the
Um,
only
Yeah.
Marilyn in my family.
when you
And
named
it was
after
actually
Marilyn.
not after Marilyn Monroe. It was a Mary and a Lynn combined, but it was during
Mm.
the Marilyn Monroe era, so they decided to spell it like Marilyn Monroe.
Okay.
Oh.
And actually, right now I don't have. I have a lot of. I have one Marilyn poster that's framed, put up, but I still have to put up. I have a James. What around my beauty area and in my old shop that I had. I had all a lot of Hollywood stars, like picture Robert Redford when he had his kind of like messy blonde hair, because that's like a beachy surfer look. I have Clark Gable, I have Audrey Hepburn, I have Marilyn Monroe, and I have Rita Hayworth and James Dean, because
Mhm.
all those looks were so iconic.
Right.
But they never go out of those hairstyles. Never really go out of style. They come in
Yeah.
and out and come in and out, but they always end up coming back.
Yeah.
So And so many people love seeing him because as soon
Yeah.
as as soon as somebody sees a picture of Clark Gable, like, oh my god, or even or even like people, oh, Robert Redford, even
Yeah.
if they come in a bad mood, and they see a picture of Robert
Totally.
or say, oh, didn't you love Breakfast at Tiffany's? Or, oh, I love Rita
Yeah.
Hayworth. Or my mom loved Rita. Someone of my cousins named Rita after Rita. Something about Hollywood and how the images of these Hollywood, iconic people,
Totally.
it just it's there with us.
Yep.
I think that's the one thing about creating images is kind of like, it's like creating. They're almost like unattainable people. They're like dreams almost.
Totally. Well, it's interesting. Gail said Betty Davis is the person she'd pick, and Aileen just said Audrey and Marilyn.
Oh, okay.
And it is. It's like that. There's a certain class, a certain style, a certain poise. That.
Did you guys watch the Feud show with Betty Davis and Betty Davis and
That was
Joan
great.
Crawford?
Yes, that's so good.
That was excellent. Yeah.
And they were the perfect people to play those parts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but I
Yeah.
loved how Olivia de Havilland, who like 200, well, she was at 100, and she's now 103, just or 200. She was saying that wasn't me. I didn't get involved with
She was
that.
pissed.
And she was still coming out with
Yep.
saying she good for her. She's got it together. And she's like,
Totally.
I
And
love her.
Nan, did you say that Ryan Murphy has a new show about Hollywood coming out?
He does. He has a new Hollywood show coming out. I forget now what it is. I think it's more 60s,
It's something
70s
called
era.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's set
It's
in
called
that
Hollywood.
era. And
Yeah.
Jim Parsons is in it. I just saw
Yeah.
it. It was
Yeah,
in
it's
the
got like
Today,
this
the
amazing
Parade
all-star
magazine
cast.
or something.
Yeah.
Was it Parade magazine? Was it
Maybe.
something about that? I'm
It
not
might have
sure.
been, yeah.
Where it's set in, and they had somebody else, an older actress is in it too, but it's like where he was trying to keep like Rock Hudson's sexual identity quiet and image making and that kind of
cool.
stuff. It was
Right.
like the dirt behind the scenes, but then they were saying how it's so similar to what stuff that's so happening in Hollywood. But I did see that.
Yeah.
But I really want to see the Mrs. America. Is it Ms. America?
I really want Mrs.
I
America.
watched that. I watched it. It's great.
Yeah.
It's really great. Yeah.
I don't have Hulu, but I need to get it. Or wait. I was just gonna wait till when it's all done and then it's available. Everywhere.
It's short, right? I mean, I watched 3. I think it's only 3 episodes.
Oh, it
it's
is?
I think it's a mini series, and it's originally FX. It might be on demand.
Right, but it's not on FX. That's the only
It's not
problem.
on FX.
No, it's on,
They were the
it's on
production
FX
company.
on Hulu. FXX on Hulu or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Gail
it was good.
Gail was asking if we saw Fosse Verdon. Did you see
Oh,
that?
that was wonderful.
Loved
That
it.
was wonderful. Yeah, that was great. The combination of the acting plus the dancing.
I know, and the music is just so amazing.
That recreation of Cabaret was like incredible.
But it just goes to show, we think dysfunction only happens to regular people.
Yeah.
But to see that played out, although a friend of mine said, she said, I'm so sick of seeing shows that having men be jerks. She's I just don't have it in me to watch another series where where a man is just a jerk. And she said, and I said, that's true too. But I knew I wanted to watch it anyway.
Yeah.
But it was so especially the Michelle Williams and
She was amazing.
and Sam
Rockwell.
Yeah.
Sam Rockwell.
Yeah. The way, even the way they made his hair look, and all of the moves were just how they were creating the rehearsals and creating all those things.
Yeah.
I thought the Pippin episode especially was
great. Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah. So I think we're hitting the point where we need to wrap up, but I wanted to say a few things, Nan, if you don't mind, I'll go here.
Go for it. Yep.
So first of all, everybody, Marilyn, not only does work in person, but she does online consultations.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
as
give
you can
lessons.
tell, she gives lessons, as you can tell,
Yes.
like
You
a wealth of information.
you can use your own makeup, your own products, and I can walk you through if you want to be skincare, if you want it to be makeup, if you want to be hairstyling, and you can find me and message me, and we can do it like usually. Sometimes it can be a FaceTime, it can be a Zoom, or it can be just easiest is for me Facebook Messenger, video messenger,
Yeah.
and so we do that, and people can pay me through PayPal, or or
Right.
Square, and
Right.
like I said, it's the beauty of your virtual
Yeah.
virtual world.
That's
And
perfect.
I've also the petition I has
Yeah.
just recently started, because of my I just was talking to another person last night on another Zoom, on another group kind of video chat thing, where they were in the beauty industry too, and she said, part of our job is learning about bacteriology and sanitation.
Hmm.
And I said, are you as frustrated with this as I am? And she said, yes. And I said, because all the things that we learn about how to keep things clean, and sanitation. And I said, after a while, I stopped traveling. A few years ago, I couldn't take it. I couldn't, because, like I said, I have a sensitivity to a lot of things. And I could tell that planes and public spaces and certain things were not being, the standards had lowered. So I started this petition with change.org, and you all got the link there,
Yeah.
about trying to get, how our life changed after 9/11. We
Hmm.
were willing to allow ourselves, for our own safety, to be detained longer and have to wait in lines to make the baggage check. Well, I would rather wait in line a little longer
Yep.
between to get on a plane, to know that that plane was going to be sanitized, and so
Totally.
that no germs from wherever were going to be, limit the exposure,
Mhm.
to the germs.
Yep.
It shouldn't have been that, oh, everybody that's on, oh, you're going to expect to get sick on cruise ships. I was on a cruise ship where everybody got off, and then a whole bunch of people were waiting to get on.
Yeah.
And
Right.
the hotel industry, we all accepted that. Oh, when they took those cameras into those hotel rooms, and the the bedspreads are filthy. Don't lay on them. Well, why? That should be a standard. That should not be the way that we just put up with the lack of cleanliness in the
Right.
spaces that we are going to be in. So if you want to, it's with change.org. I'm trying to change the industries, those industries, as well as we'll hire people. All the people who are out of work, they can be inspectors, they can be people who are in the cleaning staff,
Mhm.
they can be all a part of this process, as well as the designing the computer program, the IT people who might be not working right now, or they need to design the programs for when someone goes to inspect, they have to process that information.
Right.
So we, in the beauty industry, we have inspectors, but even those inspectors, a lot of restaurant and beauty industry, they've cut back, and they don't
Mhm.
have as many inspections as they
Right.
used to be.
Yeah.
And so I want the elevation of cleanliness to be part of our part of a norm, part of the norm,
Right.
so that the spread of future pandemics, as well as to help you know flatten this curve,
Yeah.
will be lessened,
Right.
because I spent like at least 3 months, or I guess when they first started talking about the coronavirus, literally screaming at my TV, going, why aren't they cleaning?
Yeah.
Why aren't they cleaning? What's happening? Why aren't they cleaning the planes? Why aren't they cleaning? And they said, oh, they took people from this cruise ship and they put them in this airport, and they had a plastic sheet, and they had nothing above. And
Right.
like, come on now, And I just did a sanitation seminar where people were saying, well, when they do open up salons, when the customers lay back in the shampoo sink, that's when people are first talking. Hey, how's it going? Da, da, da. But that's when people are talking to each other, and
Mhm.
so the customers may have for salons to reopen. People have to wear masks, because
Yeah.
that's when the germs and the spit can fly up
Yeah.
into
Right.
the air. All those things you don't even think about. We just
Right.
take it; those are just normal life. And limiting who can come in the salon and just see it like a restaurant. You say, sorry, our tables are full, and you got to walk around for a few minutes. If they can only have one or two people in a salon at a time, making sure the reception area is sanitized, so that if somebody brings their kids in to get their haircut and that kid has a cold, it used to just be like, oh, it's okay. A whole Saturday morning full of reception area full of little kids that need their haircut. But those things have to change. We have to be more, or just at least be more vigilant about the cleaning. And so it's that way
Right.
across the board. And
Yeah.
so I know it's boring. It's
No.
not
No,
glamorous.
it's so
But
important,
if
though.
it means our lives, it's
Yeah.
so important. So anyway, I hope to get some more signatures. I just started doing
Yeah.
it, but a lot of people could think, oh, it's not really all that. It's not the coolest thing in the world, because who likes to clean? But anyway, that's
We've
No,
already
my
got one.
thought process.
We posted the link, and you already got one signature. So,
Okay, great.
so we'll remind everybody
So
that.
I know a lot of people. You want to go. You want to get to where you want to go. But if it means saving our lives,
Right.
and the same thing with the cities. We feel like they need to be. We have a metro. DC is a metro system, and I, took it. I'll never forget. I took it about a month before everything was happening, and the whole time I was there thinking, "Gee, should I have been wearing gloves to go down the escalator? Should I have done this?" And this is before anybody was starting to do that, and
Right.
they were thinking, "Oh my god, you're just so paranoid about everything."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's sort of, to me, that brings how our industry standards can help other industries.
Right. Yeah.
And because you wouldn't want to
Yeah.
have the same towel used on you that was used on another
way.
person,
No
Right.
way.
so
Right.
or lean back, but but in the same headrest or salon chair that it wasn't clean. So at least I think that's my way of helping,
Love it.
and
Excellent.
hoping to go forward, that make some changes.
Great.
But
Love it.
I really
Love it.
appreciate you all helping, bringing awareness to my business, and
Yeah.
it's very
Excellent.
empowering for me, and helping out with this too. So
Wow.
it's been
Excellent.
so much fun.
It's been so
It's
much.
been
I
really
think we
fun.
could
Thank
talk
you.
for like a week without stopping.
I know.
I have so
Yes.
much more I want to ask you. There are questions
I know.
I didn't get
Well,
to.
We'll have to do a part
anytime,
2.
message me anytime. I'm here. I'm available. So
Excellent.
Yeah.
anytime. It's awesome. Thank you
Excellent.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank
So,
you.
Nan, do you want to wrap it up? Remind everybody about the giveaway. Talk about Thursday.
Yes.
And
Yeah. Yep. We have a couple of reminders before we go. So this Thursday at noon, we have a Facebook Live with Liz Lockman, filmmaker, and Susan Feniger, the chef from.
Great.
yeah.
So that's going to be amazing. There's so much fun. We're going to have a blast with that one. So hope everyone can come back at noon on Thursday. Also, as a reminder, is it the 7th, Amy? I'm forgetting the date. I think it's the 7th. It's 2 Thursdays from now. We're having a tea party with Sashi. We did a Facebook Live with her that I think a lot of you were at. And so if you want to sample the teas that we're going to sample, you can buy the sample pack that we're going to be tasting from. We'll put a link in this thread so everyone can find it.
Great.
And then we're going to have a tea party with her and her mother, May, and May is going to share her scone recipe, which is
fantastic.
to die for.
And then May is amazing. We talked about May when we were with Sashi, but we cannot put into words how wonderful May is. You will all love her so much. So you don't want to miss May.
Yeah. And then the last reminder is we are in the middle of a giveaway. Today actually is Pay It Forward Day. So we are giving away our last Passionistas project pack, the spring pack, which is the Pay It Forward pack, which has amazing stuff from women-owned businesses that all give back. So it's a great pack. So we'll also put the link to that giveaway in the thread so everyone can enter that contest. Yeah. And I think that's all the reminders. So Thank you all for joining us. Thank you so much, Marilyn. This was
Great.
really
Thank
fun.
you.
Everyone's
Okay,
saying they want to
Thank
part
you.
two. So.
Great.
Yeah,
Awesome.
big fans of the chat. And Marilyn, it's so great to finally meet you.
I
Thanks. It's
We've
great
know.
to
loved
meet you
you from
guys
a
too.
distance for a long time, but now I feel
That's
really like
great. That's
100%
great. Yeah.
connected.
Yeah.
Great.
All
Awesome.
right,
Thanks so
everybody.
much.
Thank you.
Take
So
care.
everybody stay home, stay safe, and stay
Yes.
passionate. We love you.
Yes. Yes. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks so much.
Marilyn.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.